Before billionaires, before super teams, before football became a global business, there was Aston Villa, a club born not in a boardroom, not in a billionaire's mansion, but in a small church hall in Birmingham. A club built by 4 young cricketers who simply didn't want winter to be boring. In 1874, they created a football team, and that decision would echo through history. Their first ever match wasn't even normal. They played half football, half rugby against a rugby team. They lost the rugby half, of course, but they won the football half. And from that chaotic spark, Aston Villa's story ignited. As the 1800s turned into the 1900s, Aston Villa didn't just grow, they ruled. They were the powerhouse of English football. Between 1894 and 1910, they captured 6 league titles and 4 FA Cups, becoming the dominant force of the era. If football had social media, then Aston Villa would have been the verified kings of England. In 1897, they stepped into their new home, Villa Park, a cathedral of football, a stadium that would witness triumph, heartbreak, miracles and madness. The Holt End's roar became one of the great sounds of British sport, loud, proud and unbreakable. But every empire faces a storm. After World War I, the magic faded. Great players retired, rivals modernised, and slowly the giant fell. In 1957, a young Villa side shocked the world by defeating Manchester United's legendary Busby Babes to lift the FA Cup. A reminder to England, the lion at Villa Park still had teeth. Then came the 1970s. Chaos, financial trouble, disastrous decisions, and Aston Villa tumbled all the way into the 3rd division. For most clubs, that's where the story ends, but not here. Villa rebuilt. The fans stood firm. Brick by brick, season by season, the club rose again. Back to the 1st division, back to belief, back to dreaming big. In 1981, under Ron Saunders, Aston Villa completed one of football's greatest turnarounds, winning the league title with a team of fighters, not superstars. And the year after, destiny called. In 1982, with caretaker manager Tony Barton, Villa walked out to face Bayern Munich in the European Cup final. And on a night that became myth, Peter Withert scuffed the most perfectly imperfect goal in football history. The final whistle blew, and Aston Villa were champions of Europe. A moment frozen in time, a badge of immortality. The decades that followed brought highs, lows, heartbreaks, promotions, and unforgettable moments. Like the return to the Premier League, led by Jack Grealish's brilliance, and during the global pandemic season, demolishing Liverpool 7-2. Unfortunately, no fans in the stadium, but the world watched on TV. Today, under Unai Emery, Aston Villa are climbing again, chasing Europe, chasing greatness, chasing the heights they once ruled. Because Aston Villa are not just a club, they are pioneers, survivors, founders of the Football League, a team that has fallen, risen, crashed, rebuilt, and risen again, always stronger. On a special night at Villa Park, decades after the glory of 1982, history echoed again. Under Unai Emery's brilliant, meticulous command, Aston Villa defeated Bayern Munich once more. A tense, electric 1-0 victory that felt like reliving the European Cup final all over again. The crowd roared, the Holter End shook, and for a moment, time folded. The spirit of '82 walked the pitch again. Because at Aston Villa, legends never die, they return this special day, leading the way for a new beginning of Aston Villa Football Club, with the lows making the highs higher.